The Purdue Boilermakers lost a couple key pieces, including George Karlaftis, to the NFL draft, but they make up for it with some good recruiting, bringing back their quarterback and everything on their offense. Can they have a great season, as they will be a key favorite for the Big Ten West? Let's go and talk about it right here on Ballard Sports Media. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ballard here, coming at you with a quick video today, looking at the Purdue Boilermakers and what they did last year. Looking at this year, lost George Karlaftis, who was the glue for the defense, obviously, but a solid line. They should still be one of the best in the Big Ten, probably up front. You bring in a couple guys in Joe Strickland, Nick Carraway, doing some good in recruiting, which I really want to get into a little bit. I think that Jeff Brohm is a good recruiter and a good head coach. When you look at it, they're bringing in 3- and 4-star athletes. Understandable that they're not one of those that will bring in all the 5 stars, but Nick Carraway, Joe Strickland, Curtis DeVille, they're doing something, and I think it's a good start. Look, here's the thing about the Boilermakers. I think that it's not because of their name, it's not because of location, it's not any of that they're not one of the bigger schools in college football. It's not about that. But I think Jeff Brohm can recruit, especially on the defensive line. Just keep winning big-time football games, keep competing, win the West at some point. Could that be this year? It's possible. They bring in a lot of O-line too. Jimmy Liston, Vince Carpenter across Watson right here. Purdue is in a good position. They are not a bad program, not historically. They have had some great teams. They have had good defenses under Coach Brohm. Here's the thing about Purdue. Last year, they went 9-4 and they won a bowl game against Tennessee. They beat an SEC team. A pretty good game, by the way. I thought they did better than I thought they would. Probably better than anybody thought they would. And they played teams like UConn, Oregon State. They only lost by 14 to Notre Dame. We'll get into their schedule in a minute. But overall, when they beat teams like Michigan State and Iowa and Indiana, and then they go out and win a bowl game against an SEC school like Tennessee, which, say whatever you want to, I still think it's pretty impressive. And by the way, it was in overtime. The way they closed it out, right? The way they closed it out was just so incredible. And this offense coming back this year is going to be amazing for Purdue. They went 6-3 in the conference. They went 9-4 overall with a bowl win, an 8-4 regular season schedule. Let's look at what they did. And they started out winning their first 2 games. Before the bye week, they were 3-2. That's a good start. Minnesota and Notre Dame, your only 2 losses to start out. That's not too bad. It sucks to lose your homecoming game, but Minnesota had a good start, and Minnesota and PJ Fleck recruit very well, and they always have a hot start to the season. Not the best finish is what one of those teams is. To beat Iowa after losing to Minnesota is something incredible, especially because Iowa was undefeated then. I said about Iowa that their offense wasn't terrible, but it had yet to face that defense or an offense that they would have to score and keep up with. And I think that's what Purdue showed them, and they got the W here. They lose to Wisconsin 30-13. They beat Nebraska. They beat Michigan State in a big win. You had a guy in Kenneth Walker and Peyton Thorne. you had a pretty good offense for Michigan State, and they were able to find ways in that game at home too. Overall, I would say just outscore them, outperform them, and put up some big numbers. Lose to Ohio State. 31 points against them. That's not bad. You gave up 59, though. That's where it's an issue, giving up 59. But CJ Stroud is amazing. We know that. Northwestern 32-14. Indiana 44-7. Your in-state rival there against the Hoosiers. And then, of course, a 48-45 overtime in the Music City Bowl against the Tennessee Volunteers. I don't know too much about Purdue. I tried to do the best I could with research. Michael Hogue, if you're watching this, sir, just let me know in the comments, man. Like, what should we expect from him? Shout out to Michael Hogue. He's a big-time Boilermaker fan. So, but you bring in Joe Strickland. He comes back on the defensive line. You bring in a 4-star defensive tackle in Nick Caraway. There's a lot to love about the Purdue defense, and I'm hearing some big things about that, what I'm reading on social media. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's just what I'm seeing. They brought in transfers like Elijah Canyon as a wide receiver from Auburn. Tyrone Tracy is a wide receiver from Iowa. When you look at it, they have used the portal in such a great way. T. Denson is from Kansas State. Sion Fanau is an interior lineman. Again, all of these are 3-star athletes, but don't let stars fool you. Don't let a 3-star make you think it's just an average player, because it's not the case. I really think Jeff Brohm has worked with great defenses and great offensive players, and I think he could do something with the talent that he's been given this offseason. So let's go ahead and look at their schedule for 2022 and see what we're getting into at Purdue, because I really think it could be a good year. But again, let's check out their schedule here for this season. All right. So again, last year, 9-4 overall with a bowl win, 6-3 in the Big Ten. They won their last 3 games. Penn State, you open up with Indiana State, Sycamores, should be no problem there. At Syracuse, could possibly be a trap game, but I expect them to be better than Syracuse. That could be a close game. If it is, don't hang your heads, because the Carrier Dome is Yankee Stadium. It's huge. It's loud. It's a great atmosphere, and one of the loudest in college football. I mean, you can hardly hear the announcers on television when Syracuse plays at home. Your homecoming game against FAU. Then you start some more Big Ten play. And it's a pretty interesting stretch here. At Minnesota, at Maryland, you play Nebraska, you play at Wisconsin. You take a bye week, which I think is good timing because you got a stretch here with Iowa. At Illinois, we already looked at Illinois, Northwestern, and Indiana. Overall, I do think it's favorable. Upsets, I think the teams to upset are Penn State and Iowa. I think those are the only 2 where you probably won't be favored. You don't have a Michigan State, or Ohio State on here. Indiana even, I think, would be a game you're favored in. There's really not room for – it's more so trap games. Like, I'd be concerned about Wisconsin. I'd be concerned about Indiana. I'd be concerned about maybe even Minnesota to start October. Those are the games. Trap games. Not upsets. Trap games. Because I think maybe outside of Penn State, you should be okay. Outside of that in Iowa, you should be favored in all these other games here. I'm going to make this one quick today. I think they're a Big Ten West dark horse. I think it's either them or Iowa, and I did do the Iowa preview. I didn't necessarily say who I had winning the West, and if I did say Iowa, tough crap, okay? It's either them or Purdue, but this is And I say dark horse just because it has been a little while. I think it's been a couple years or so. So Purdue could win it. They have a good chance to win the West and play Ohio State or whoever comes out of the East. But it's all going to depend. So here's what I'll give you guys. Go ahead and cut this short because it sounds like my grandfather's getting home as we speak. Time for dinner. 2022 record. I'm going to go 9-3 and still say that they win the Big Ten West. That being said, I'm going to say they do drop the Penn State game at Minnesota and at Wisconsin. Of those three, what do I think they could win? Probably the Penn State game. I just love Penn State's defense this year. I like the quarterback competition with Sean Clifford coming back, and you got Drew Aller as a 5-star. I don't think Penn State's going to lose early on. If that game at home against Penn State is middle of the season, maybe that's a different story, but I like Penn State to start the season more so than I do Purdue. At Minnesota, I think PJ Fleck could have a pretty interesting team this year, and it being on the road, I just got to take the home team in Minnesota. And then, like I said, Wisconsin, you could I don't want to say easily. I don't know. Because do they overlook it? I know they got a bye week after it, but are they overlooking that game for Iowa? Is that a possibility? Maybe, maybe not. I could see 10-2 or 9-3, but I'm going to say Wisconsin gets an upset at Camp Randall Stadium here. You come off a couple good wins at Maryland and Nebraska. You feel like you're getting some stuff going. You're excited. Iowa, Purdue should be a good game to start November. You get a bye week before that. But does Wisconsin give you a game? I think so. I think that's a great possibility. But like I said, I was going to make this one short today. Michael Hogue, if you're watching, sir, big Boilermaker fan. Let me know why I'm wrong. Let me know what I missed. But again, their recruiting looks really, really good, and they've brought in a lot of transfers. So when you get transfers, I mean, they've taken from teams like Iowa, like Indiana, like Auburn. You know, they brought in Elijah Canyon, Tyrone Tracy, Reese Taylor, T. Denson, Sion Fanau from FIU, Dominic Moon, Jimmy Liston, Vince Carpenter on the O-line. They have stacked their offensive line for sure, and they're going to be great, and I think it's going to be something special this year. 9-3. I mean, it's not something to hang your head over, Purdue. It's really not. I'm saying you're going to win the Big Ten West, though, because I think you'll probably have the best conference record of anybody in the West, and I think that it comes down to I think it comes down to that November 5th Iowa game, and I think it being at home for you guys and you come off a loss to Wisconsin, that's what's going to determine the West. You beat Iowa, and then you pretty much win the rest of your games, and you go in to Lucas Oil in Indianapolis, and we'll see what happens. I got Ohio State in the East, so Ohio State, Purdue for the Big Ten title. Last time they met in 2017, there was an upset, so we'll see what happens. But I'm going to stick to 9-3 and say Purdue can win the West. I love you guys. Jesus loves you. He's got a great plan. Please like, comment, and subscribe right here to Ballard Sports Media for more sports content. And until next time, folks, Ballard Sports Media, checking out. Love y'all. Peace.